I decided to do my external reading presentation on the article Playful Trauma, TikTok Creators, and the Use of the Platform Body in Times of War. So synopsis of the a quick synopsis of the article explores how creators on TikTok from the Ukraine and the article explores how creators on TikTok from the Ukraine and Russia responded to the 2022 war in Ukraine by showing and using their bodies, platform features, and vernacular practices to express trauma in a more playful way. The authors analyzed 97 videos created by 12 Ukrainian and Russian TikTok creators and identified 3 key dynamic practice styles to follow: embodiment, platforms, and trauma coverage. The authors of the text do argue that this mixture of playful performance and serious trauma creates a tension which they term playful trauma. This term means bodies performing trauma through different platform vernaculars. Reading through the article, you notice the physical body turning both into the medium and the message. The article pushes the audience's understanding of how war, grief, and resilience are mediated on short-form video platforms. Also, how creators use their affordances of TikTok to form communal ties, process grief, and bear witness to certain actions that go on in wartime settings, like the individuals that are shown in the article. Some main points that I picked up after reading through the entire article were platform affordances matter, playful styles of trauma, and the actual platform body. So number 1, platform affordances matter. TikTok's format, short form videos, POVs, templates, filters, they enable a certain kind of mediated embodiment of trauma. The authors emphasize that the platform isn't simply a neutral container, but shows the audience how trauma can be performed, shared, redone, and consumed. For number 2, playful styles of trauma, the article shows how humor, irony, and subversion and playfulness are used in context of serious situations and adversities, war. The individuals making content in these war-stricken areas are not trying to poke fun at all, but rather trying to show people how they are coping with this impossible situation that they have to endure. And to some people online, it may look like they are trying to dumb down the situation or make it look less hostile by posting videos and using social media in a time where that isn't something that should be taken so seriously. But us as readers, we have to understand that they are human beings and they're trying to cope the best way they can and trying to go about the situation and handle it in a normal way. And there's no right or wrong way to handle trauma. For number 3, for the platformed body, the creators who make their content for TikTok use their bodies by dancing, gesturing, and pointing the camera and moving. This allows for the audience to be even more immersed in their lives and with their content, having access to get up close and personal with people that are living the experience currently. Key takeaways after reading through the article. Short form video channels like TikTok are significant mediators of war, trauma, and grief. They are not only for entertainment, they become spaces of expression, documentation, and community, and even activism. The body remains central in digital media practices. Even on highly mediated platforms, bodily performance matters. The platform the platform body concept is useful. In terms of media effects, they suggest the audience and creators in war zones engage differently in media spaces. The boundaries between witness, acting, and performer, audience blur, all play a role. In a broader sense, the article pushes a more scholarly understanding of digital media's role in conflict zones. It also shows how war is mediated, how creators use platforms to cope, and how trauma becomes visible and shareable. For my first passage, I'm going to read, I guess I'll read all of it and then I'll explain. The creative approach encouraged creators to craft fresh context through platform techniques and fostered unique storytelling environments that evoke sentiments of belonging and solidarity. Utilizing their own bodies as expressive elements of play, in one of the videos posted by the creator, she filmed herself lip syncing and dancing to a song, Wild Thoughts by DJ Khaled and Rihanna. In this video, she is shown engaging in a dance with fellow Ukrainian friend, accompanied by text that conveys the resilient spirit of Ukrainians amid adversity. When you both are Ukrainian and it's hard to pull you, alluding to the role of sarcasm and irony as a means of wartime playfulness resilience. This narrative portrays the steadfast pride amid the backdrop of war, brought to life through the lens of dancing to a TikTok trend. This way, dancing redefines video creation during the war, enabling creators to express their Ukrainian unity sentiments while blending with the platform's vernacular of participatory immersion in popular culture trends. So, what that passage means is it stays in line with the main idea of the text by talking about how using training sounds and using metaphors in context is an outlet for individuals in those circumstances. Using sarcasm and irony helps creators share their experiences with the world. Before I talk about passage 2, passage 1, a little bit more of an explanation in simpler terms, basically is creators in Ukrainian spaces during the war started to create content showing their lives, point of views, a day in my shoes type of videos so that people that weren't experiencing the war could see firsthand what was going on. Not a way to choose sides, but to show what these human beings are going through. For passage 2, I'm going to read it. While TikTok offers creators a platform to process and express their trauma through performative acts such as POV videos, dance routines, and feature-based dialogues, playful trauma risk, however, trivializing or aestheticizing the gravity of war zones. Also, the necessity of embodying trauma for visibility may lead to the exclusion of deeper emotional and psychological aspects that are not readily performable. This could shift the focus towards the more visible, dramatic aspects of trauma, overshadowing the subtler, intricate experiences. Consequently, it may lead to superficial understanding of trauma conveyed. We acknowledge that not fully unpacking the issue is a limitation of our study, but we are mindful of this potential criticism. Also, given the limited sample of TikTok creators included in this study, as well as the specific focus on war-related content within a single platform, rather than data collected from a variety of platforms. Where trauma may be expressed differently, we advocate for further research that includes a more diverse range of creators based on their backgrounds, political perspectives, as well as those with minor fellow counts. So, to explain that, this passage expresses that even though people's use of TikTok and videos to show what's going on, it doesn't take away from the serious and horrific situations many people are experiencing right now. These videos are put out by people who have to live through this despite the constant fears of their lives. They use trendy sounds and filters as a way to show that they are still human and process things and events differently. For my supporting media material, I found an article or I found a literature review that was done by an individual that read the same article. His name is Esteban Morales, and he titled Playful Trauma, TikTok Creators and the Use of the Platform Body in Times of War, Violence and Platforms, and this is his literature review. I have just another little passage that I pulled from his literature review that I'm going to talk about that kind of goes into everything else I've been explaining about the article. So, we identified the use of play through 3 dynamic practices for platforms, bodies, and trauma coverage. 1. The utilization of POV, point of view, aesthetic and shareable templates to convey the realities of war from engaging first-person perspectives. Number 2. The incorporation of dance as means of embodied creative expression, engaging first-person activities. Number 2. The incorporation of dance as a means of embodied creative expression and amplification of trauma. And number 3, the harnessing of platform features to facilitate whimsical dialogues with followers about life under war. We argue that playfulness and entrenched in enacted through platform vernacular modes, driving creators to forge communal ties during adversities and shape the ongoing representation of trauma and its accelerated visibility in digital spaces. And that is Esteban Morales from a 2024 literature review. So what he means to say in all of that is that this is a small excerpt from the literature review where he spoke on 3 main points: POV, dance, and the platform features. The first point, that TikTok users use POV style to show what living through war feels like, helping viewers see the events through their own eyes. The second point says that dance becomes a way to express pain or fear while also showing creativity and strength. The third point explains that creators use TikTok tools like filters, text, and comments to talk about everyday life during war in a light or funny way. Together, they show how people use playfulness on social media to cope with trauma, connect with others, and make their experience more visible to people around the world that may not be going through the same situations that they are. In closing, the reading explores how people in war zones, especially in Ukraine and Russia, use TikTok to express their pain and experience. The authors explain that many creators turn to the app's tools like dances, POV videos, and trends to show what life is like during the war. They call this idea playful trauma, meaning that even in hard times, people use humor and creativity to cope and share their stories. This allows for them to connect better with the people around the world and online. Their videos show how the body becomes a part of the message, expressing trauma and resilience through movement and performance. The authors identified 3 main ways creators do this: by using point of view styles to give you a up close and personal look into their lives. Second, they use dance as a creative way to release and express their emotions. And third, by using TikTok features to start lighthearted and ironic conversations about life during war. Together, these practices help build community and help trauma become more visible in digital spaces. The study helps us understand how mass media like social media platforms like TikTok can be used not just for entertainment, but for emotional expression, storytelling, and connection during times of crisis. Thank you.